I'm April, and my life feels like a faded photograph, trapped in a town where the sky is always gray and dreams wither before they can bloom. Every day, I'm drowning in the silence of a marriage that's lost its warmth, sharing a home with a man who's become a stranger. But beneath the monotony, a storm is brewing, a secret so heavy it's tearing me apart, a betrayal I never saw coming. My heart races with guilt and fear as I wonder how long I can hide the truth before everything shatters. What did I do to keep us from falling apart? And will the man I once loved ever forgive me when he finds out? Picture this. A sky so gray it looks like the world forgot how to dream, hanging low over a town that's just as dull. That's where I'm standing right now, on the cracked sidewalk outside my little beige house, feeling the weight of every single day I've lived so far. My name's April, and I'm 29 years old, caught in a life that feels like it's been scripted by someone who ran out of ideas. I've got a husband, Derek, who's, well, let's just say he's a man of routine. He's 32, works long hours at the warehouse, and comes home smelling of sweat and machine oil, his eyes always somewhere else. We've been married for 6 years, and somewhere along the line, the spark we had turned into a flicker, barely holding on against the wind. I don't know when it started, this quiet ache in my chest, like I'm carrying a stone no one else can see. Maybe it was the first time I realized Derek and I stopped talking about anything that mattered. Or maybe it was when I looked in the mirror one morning and didn't recognize the woman staring back, pale, tired, with lines around her eyes that shouldn't be there yet. I used to have plans, big ones. I wanted to paint, to travel, to see the world beyond this sleepy little town where nothing ever changes. But life has a way of grinding those dreams down until they're just dust in your hands. Now, I'm a part-time clerk at the local grocery store, scanning cans of soup and pretending to smile at customers who don't even look at me twice. Every day feels like a loop. I wake up to the same alarm, make the same bitter coffee, and watch Derek shuffle out the door without so much as a goodbye. The house is too quiet after he's gone, just the hum of the fridge and the occasional creak of the old floorboards. I try to fill the silence with little things, cleaning, scrolling through my phone, staring out the window at the same gray sky. But it doesn't help. There's this emptiness inside me, gnawing at the edges of everything I do. I keep thinking there has to be more to life than this, more than just existing from one paycheck to the next, more than sharing a bed with someone who feels like a stranger. And then, there are the nights. Those are the hardest. When Derek comes home, we eat dinner in near silence, the clink of forks against plates louder than any words we might say. After, we'll sit on the couch, him with his beer, me with a glass of cheap wine, watching some show neither of us cares about. Sometimes, he'll reach for me, his hands rough and impatient, and I'll let him because it's easier than saying no. It's not love, not anymore. It's just habit. A fleeting moment of closeness that leaves me feeling even emptier when it's over. I lie there afterward. I wake up to a morning so cold and gray it feels like the world's been drained of color. The kind of day that seeps into your bones and makes you ache before you even get out of bed. I roll over, the thin blanket barely keeping the chill at bay, and drag myself to the kitchen, hoping for something to quiet the growling in my stomach. I open the cupboard, my fingers trembling a little from the cold, and stare at the empty shelves. The last can of beans, the one I'd been saving for a day like this, is gone. Just gone. My heart sinks, a heavy, familiar weight settling in my chest as I slam the door shut, the sound echoing in the quiet house. That's when I hear the front door creak open, and Derek stumbles in, the stench of cheap booze hitting me like a wall before he even says a word. He's been out all night again, probably at some dive bar, drowning whatever's left of himself in whiskey and regret. His eyes are bloodshot, his steps uneven as he mutters something I can't make out before collapsing onto the couch, his boots still on, tracking mud across the floor. I just swept yesterday. I stand there, hands on my hips, trying to find the words to reach him, to talk about how we're down to nothing, no food, no money, no hope. Derek, we gotta figure this out, I say, my voice cracking with desperation. We can't keep going like this. But he just grunts, his head lolling back, already half gone into a drunken sleep. I'm talking to a ghost, and I know it. My back screams as I bend down to pick up the empty bottles scattered around the living room, each movement a sharp reminder of the pain I've been ignoring for weeks. I can't afford the free clinic, not even a bus ticket to get there for the meds that might dull this ache. We're behind on rent, the bills are piling up, and the fridge is as empty as my bank account. I sink onto a chair, rubbing my hands over my face, trying to push down the panic clawing at me. How did it come to this? How did I let everything slip so far? I think about the past month, how I've been leaning on the few people I've got left in my corner. Mark, Travis, and Eddie. They've been my lifeline, even if I hate asking for help. Mark dropped off a bag of rice last week, enough to keep us going for a few days. Travis slipped me a 20 a few days back, his face tight with worry as he told me to make it last. And Eddie, always the optimist, swore he'd figure something out, though I'm not sure what that even means anymore. I grab my phone, my hands shaky, and dial Mark's number. My voice is thin, barely holding together as I ask if he can swing by with anything at all, to eat. There, I'm sitting in the dim light of our cramped living room, the silence so thick it feels like it's pressing down on me, when I hear the knock at the door. My heart lifts for a split second, thinking maybe Mark got my message and brought something to tide us over. I shuffle to the door, my worn-out slippers scuffing against the floor, and open it to see Mark, Travis, and Eddie standing there. But something's off. There's no trace of their usual easygoing chatter, no half-smiles or quick jokes about the mess we're in. Instead, they step inside with this eerie quiet, their faces hard, like they've already made up their minds about something I don't yet understand. I glance over at Derek, still sprawled out on the couch, dead to the world in his drunken haze, oblivious to the tension filling the room like a storm about to break. Mark gestures for me to sit down on the sagging armchair, and I do, my hands fidgeting in my lap, my stomach twisting with a bad feeling I can't shake. He takes a deep breath, his eyes avoiding mine for a moment before locking on with a seriousness that makes my chest tighten. April, we've been helping you and Derek for weeks now. He starts, his voice steady but heavy. Dropping off food, scraping together cash when we could. But we can't keep doing this for free. We're strapped ourselves, and we need something in return. My mind races, grasping at the obvious. Money. They want money. I stammer out a response, my voice shaky. We don't have anything, Mark. Not a dime. You know that. We're barely holding on. I'm pleading already, hoping they'll see the desperation in my eyes and back off. But then Travis steps forward, his boots heavy on the creaky floor, and his voice comes out low, cold, like a blade sliding across stone. There are other ways to pay. My breath catches, and the room seems to tilt under me. I feel the blood drain from my face as the meaning of his words sinks in, heavy and sickening. I shake my head, a small involuntary movement as if I can push the implication away. But Eddie, leaning against the wall with his arms crossed, lets out a smirk that makes my skin crawl. It's just business, April, he says, his tone casual, like he's discussing the weather. You want food on the table? You'll do what we ask. My heart is pounding so hard I can hear it in my ears, a frantic drumbeat drowning out everything else. The room spins, the faded wallpaper blurring as I try to find words, any words, to make this stop. Please, I whisper, my voice breaking. Please don't do this. There has to be another way. I'll figure something out, I swear. But Mark cuts me off, his expression unyielding. It's this or nothing. No more help, no more food. You decide. I glance over at Derek again, my last shred of hope clinging to the idea that he'll wake up, that he'll sense something's wrong, and put an end to this nightmare. But he doesn't move, doesn't even twitch, lost in his own darkness while mine closes in around me. Tears burn my eyes, spilling over as I realize I'm trapped. There's no way out, no one to turn to. My voice is barely a whisper as I nod, the word okay, slipping out like a betrayal of everything I am. I feel the weight of their stares as I stand, my legs trembling, and lead the way to the tiny bedroom down the hall, the dim light from a single bulb casting long shadows on the peeling paint. Derek's snoring echoes faintly from the living room, a cruel reminder of how alone I am in this moment. I shut the door behind us, my hands shaking so badly I can barely turn the knob. What follows is a blur of shame and numbness, a violation of everything I thought I'd never compromise. I can't bring myself to linger on the details, but imagine the worst kind of bargain, the kind that strips away your dignity. The days after that awful moment with Mark, Travis, and Eddie crawl by like a slow, suffocating fog. I can barely drag myself out of bed each morning, the weight of what I've done pressing down on me heavier than ever. I catch glimpses of myself in the bathroom mirror and have to turn away. Those hollow eyes, that pale, drawn face, they don't feel like mine anymore. It's like I'm staring at a stranger, someone who's been broken in ways I can't even name. I scrub my hands raw under the faucet, as if I could wash away the shame, but it clings to me, a stain that won't budge no matter how hard I try. I've got the groceries they left behind, a pitiful bag of basics, bread, canned soup, a few bruised apples. I shove them into the cupboard, out of sight, and mumble to Derek that I got them from a food bank. He doesn't question it, just nods with that distant look in his eyes, but every time I pull something out to eat, it turns to ash in my mouth. Each bite feels tainted, like I'm swallowing my own betrayal. I force it down anyway, because hunger doesn't care about guilt, but it sits in my stomach like poison, churning with every memory of that day. Derek's starting to notice something's wrong. I can't help it. I flinch when he gets too close, my skin prickling at even the thought of his touch. I'm quieter than usual, my words clipped and sparse, and I catch him watching me with a furrowed brow, like he's trying to piece together a puzzle he doesn't have all the parts for. "You okay, April?" he asks one evening, his voice rough from a long day at the warehouse, tinged with a confusion that's starting to edge into something sharper. I can't meet his gaze, so I turn away, busying myself with wiping down the counter that's already clean. It's just my back. I lie, my voice thinner than I mean it to be. Acting up again? Hurts more than usual? He grunts, not entirely convinced, but he lets it drop for now. Still, I feel his eyes lingering on me, and it makes my nerves fray even further. The dread builds with every passing hour, a tight knot in my chest that won't loosen. I know the upcoming week is going to bring Mark, Travis, and Eddie back into my life, and the thought makes me sick. What will they want next? What will I have to give up just to keep us from starving? I've thought about running, just packing a bag and disappearing into the gray horizon outside our window. But where would I go? I've got no money, no job worth anything, no one else to turn to. I'm caged in this crumbling life, the bars made of desperation and fear, and there's no key in sight. And then there's Derek. God, I resent him more than I ever thought possible. Every time I see him stumble in late, reeking of booze, or hear him mutter excuses about why the bills aren't paid, the anger bubbles up, hot and bitter. It's his fault we're in this mess, I tell myself. His drinking, his carelessness, his inability to hold us together. It's pushed us to the edge, and I'm the one paying the price for it. Yet, even with all that rage simmering inside me, I can't bring myself to walk away. Maybe it's fear. Maybe it's some twisted sense of loyalty. Or maybe I just don't know who I'd be without him, as broken as we are. I'm stuck, tethered to a man I barely recognize, in a life I never wanted. One night, I find myself sitting alone at the kitchen table, the house dark except for the faint glow of a single bulb overhead. I'm staring at a loaf of bread from that cursed grocery bag, the plastic wrapper crinkling under my fingers as I turn it over and over, lost in thought. Every slice feels like a reminder of what I traded to get it, a transaction that's carved itself into my soul. I don't even hear Derek come in until his heavy footsteps jolt me out of my spiraling thoughts. I'm still at the kitchen table, the loaf of bread sitting there like a silent accusation, when he drops into the chair across from me. His eyes are clearer tonight, sharper, like he's been chewing on something for a while and can't hold it in anymore. My stomach twists as he leans forward, elbows on the table, and fixes me with a look that cuts right through the walls I've built up. April, what's really going on with you? He asks, his voice low, almost a growl, like he's done playing along with my excuses. Don't give me that crap about your back. I'm not blind. You've been off for weeks. Tell me. I freeze, my fingers tightening around the edge of the table, the rough wood digging into my skin. My mind scrambles for a way out, a lie to throw at him that'll buy me more time, but my throat feels like it's closing up. It's stress, Derek. I stammer, my voice barely above a whisper, shaking with every word. The bills, the rent, trying to keep food on the table, it's all piling up. I'm just tired, okay? But even as the words spill out, I know they're flimsy, a paper shield against a storm I can't stop. His face hardens, his jaw clenching so tight I can see the muscle twitch. He doesn't buy it, not for a second. Suddenly, his fist slams down on the table, the sound exploding in the quiet room like a gunshot. I flinch hard, my heart leaping into my throat as the bread jumps a little from the impact. Damn it, April, stop lying to me, he roars, his voice raw with frustration, and something deeper, something that sounds like fear. I deserve the truth. What the hell is going on? His eyes bore into mine, demanding, pleading, and I feel the last of my defenses crumble under the weight of it all. I can't hold it in anymore. The dam breaks, and a sob rips out of me, loud and ugly, as tears stream down my face, hot and unstoppable. I collapse forward, my head in my hands, the words pouring out between gasps for air. I didn't want to, Derek, I swear I didn't. I choke out, my voice breaking over every syllable. Your friends, Mark, Travis, Eddie, they said they'd help us, but it wasn't for free. They made me. I had to do things I can't even say out loud, just to keep us from starving. I've been carrying this shame every single day, hating myself for it, but I didn't see another way. My shoulders shake as I sob harder, the memories clawing at me, vivid and suffocating. I brace myself, waiting for his anger, for the shouting, for him to storm out and leave me in the wreckage of this confession. I expect the worst, because how could he not hate me for this? But instead, there's nothing. Just silence. A heavy, suffocating silence that stretches on and on. I force myself to look up through blurry eyes, and he's just staring at me. His face is a storm of emotions, pain, guilt, rage, all swirling together in a way that makes my chest ache even more. His hands are clenched into fists on the table, knuckles white, but he doesn't move, doesn't speak. Minutes drag by, each one feeling like an eternity, and I can't read what's behind those eyes. Is he disgusted? Furious? I can't tell, and the uncertainty is worse than any outburst could be. I want to beg him to say something, anything, but my voice is gone, stolen by the weight of this moment. Then, finally, he speaks, but it's in a tone I've never heard from him before. Low, broken, like every word is being dragged out of him. I suspected something wasn't right, he admits, his gaze dropping to the table, unable to meet mine. The way they'd been looking at you, the way they'd linger around here even when I wasn't home. I should have seen it sooner. I should have protected you. His voice cracks on that last part, and I see his shoulders slump, like the weight of his own failures is crushing him right there in front of me. I want to reach out, to tell him it's not all on him, but I'm still trembling, still raw from baring my soul. Before I can find the words, he stands up abruptly, the chair scraping against the floor with a harsh screech. His eyes are burning now, not with anger at me, but with a fury I've never seen before, a fire that's been lit deep inside him. They're not gonna get away with this, he growls, his voice thick with resolve. I'm gonna make this right, April. I swear it. The next day, the air in our tiny living room feels like it's charged with lightning, ready to strike at any moment. Derek's pacing back and forth, his boots thudding against the worn-out carpet, a baseball bat gripped tight in his hands. I'm sitting on the edge of the couch, my fingers digging into the frayed fabric, my heart racing so fast I can barely breathe. He called them over, Mark, Travis, and Eddie, told them he needed to talk, and now we're waiting. I don't know what's going to happen, but the look in Derek's eyes tells me he's done playing nice. The bat isn't just for show, it's a promise of what he's willing to do to protect what's left of us. When the knock finally comes, it's sharp and impatient, rattling the thin door in its frame. Derek stops pacing, his jaw set, and nods at me to stay put before he swings the door open. They file in, all three of them, their faces a mix of annoyance and curiosity, like they've got no idea what's coming. Mark's in front, his arms crossed, a smirk tugging at the corner of his mouth as he looks Derek up and down. Travis and Eddie hang back a little, their eyes darting around the room, sensing something's off but not quite sure what. The tension is so thick I could choke on it, every muscle in my body coiled tight as I watch this unfold. I know everything, Derek says, his voice low and dangerous, cutting through the silence like a knife. He steps forward, the bat still in his grip, his knuckles white around the handle. I know what you did to my wife, what you forced her into, and I'm telling you right now, you're done. You leave us alone for good, or I swear I'll make you regret ever stepping foot in this house. His words hang in the air, heavy and unyielding, and for a moment, no one moves. Then Mark lets out a sharp, mocking laugh, his head tilting back like Derek just told the worst joke he's ever heard. You're in no position to make demands, man, Mark sneers, taking a step closer, his smirk widening. You've failed as a husband, couldn't even keep food on the table. What makes you think you can threaten us? You're nothing. His words hit Derek like a punch, and I see the rage flare in his eyes, his grip on the bat tightening even more. Travis shifts on his feet, looking ready to jump in, while Eddie's got this cold, calculating look, like he's sizing up how this might go down. I can feel the violence brewing, a storm about to break right here in this cramped space, and my stomach twists with dread. Before Derek can swing, before fists start flying, I'm on my feet, my voice tearing out of me in a desperate scream. Stop! Just stop it, all of you! My hands are shaking as I fumble for my phone in my pocket, holding it up like a weapon of my own. I recorded everything last time you were here, I say, my voice trembling but gaining strength with every word. Every word, every threat, every sick demand. I've got it all right here, and if you don't back off, don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment if you enjoyed this story. This will help us create more engaging stories for you.